Where exactly we stopped last week? Last week, mum whiteboard note take evala තියෙනවද? එවලා නෑනේ. Where did we stop last week? Can somebody quickly tell me? ආ අපි mixtures වල ඉවර කරාද mixtures lesson එක? I remember doing chromatography because I have even sent a picture of chromatography in the group. What else did we do? Is that where we stopped? Did we do extraction of salt from seawater? We have to do that. Okay, great. That means today we are going to be finishing mixtures and we will be starting light, our fifth lesson. Light ivarunaට පස්සේ තමයි අපි waves වලට යන්නේ. Okay? Okay, so let's get our note. Give me a second. Let me open this. Now, after today, you are the senior batch in O-levels. Because today, tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be doing the last O-level class for the batch who's writing O-levels this year, February. දහත් වෙනිදා තියෙන එක. ඒගොල්ලන් ගියාට පස්සේ ඕගලන්ට තමයි ඊළඟට O-levels තියෙන්නේ. Okay? So, I will be preparing you for O-levels next. And ඔගොල්ලන් හිතයි තව කල් තියෙනවා කියලා, but trust me, time goes really fast. මොකද දැන් February වල O-level ලියන කට්ටියත් මාස කිහිපයකට කලින් හිතුවේ තව කල් තියෙනවා කියලා. ඒක හින්දා හැමලෙම මතක තියාගන්න what is our end goal, what we are supposed to do, what is our plan ඒ ඔක්කොම ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න ඕනේ අපි. Right? And my plan for you is we have to finish the syllabus May February ne? We have to finish the syllabus by June. June, July වගේ ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ. Then we start doing past papers. Yeah. And past papers කරලා past papers කීප සැරයක් හරි කරලා පුළුවන් තරම් paper practice එක ගන්නවා before O levels because you will be writing O levels in December. Okay? Good. හැමෝම ගාව past paper book එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ දැන් වෙද්දි. Okay? එතකොට that is good that you bought the past paper book. දෙසින්දු book එකේ what is the last paper? What is the most recent paper? මොන අවුරුද්දේ නම් මොන අවුරුද්දද තියෙන්නේ? In the past paper book. Good. එතකොට හැමෝම පුළුවන් තරම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ අලුතෙන් books ගන්නව නම් try to get the book with the most recent paper. එතකොට දැන් වෙද්දී ඔයගලන්ට most recent paper එක 2024. ඒ කියන්නේ අන්තිම තිබ්බ O level paper එක. එතකොට ඒ වෙනකම් තියෙන papers තියෙන පොතක් ගන්න try කරන්න ඔයගලන් අරගෙන නැත්තම්. already පොත අරගෙන තියෙන කට්ටිය මට නැති papers ටික කියන්න මම එවන්නම්. So ඒක එච්චර worry වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඒතර ඒ ටික විතරක් වර වෙනම print outs ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක ඔක්කොම last කරලා තියන්න because even now while they're doing questions randomly I will give you some past paper questions to do as homework. So අපිට discuss කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? June වෙනකම් ඉන්නේ නැහැ අපි past papers කරන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ හැමෝගාම දැන් පොත තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Okay? දැන් තරම් නැත්තම් තව සති දෙක තුනක් ඇතුළත වගේ ගන්න. එහෙම නැත්තම් ඕගලන් මට message එකක් දාන්න මම past papers ඔක්කොගෙම soft copies ටික එවන්නම්. PDF ටික. එතකොට ඒක print outs ගන්නත් පුළුවන් whatever you want. හරි. Let's see if you actually studied. Okay. So, many questions, huh? Let's do like two, three questions and then we'll do the lesson. Many situation. A student has prepared a standard solution. When preparing this, there were standard solution of 1 second. Okay, my question of NaCl dissolved in water. When he was preparing this using a volumetric flask, it was not clean and had residues of acetone used for a previous study. Will the concentration of the resulting NaCl solution be wait, I prepare the standard. Be higher or lower than a student has prepared a standard solution of NaCl dissolved in water, bonding a concentration of 1 moles per cubic decimeter. එයාට ඕනේ 1 moles per cubic decimeter solution එකක් prepare කරන්න. When he was preparing this using a volumetric flask, that volumetric flask was not clean and had residues of acetone. Acetone කියන්නේ ළමයි liquid එකක්. කලින් එකකට use කරපු acetone ටිකක් ඒ liquid එකේ තිබිලා. Will the concentration of the resulting NaCl solution be higher or lower than 1 moles per cubic decimeter? I will give you 2-3 minutes to work this out. මට උත්තර ලිව්වේ නැතත් කමක් නැහැ කටෙන් හරිය කිව්වා නම් ඇති. But work it out. You know, because we have done several questions keep කරානේ අර standard solutions වල එක එක mistakes කරද්දි concentration, will the concentration be higher or lower than the concentration that we want කියන එක ගැන අපි කතා කරා. Using that knowledge, try to figure this out. මෙතන liquid එක මම චුට්ටක් වෙනස් කරන්න. I will put kerosene. If you figure out an answer, you can let me know in the chat box. Unmute කරන්න to chat box එකේ දාන්න. Then others also can work it out alone. Two more minutes, huh? Okay, I got one answer. Yes, Sevindi, this is the first question. Since I started the class a bit late, I asked you in the group that I asked you all to go through mixtures and photosynthesis. No, so this is the question I asked based on that, on mixtures, standard solutions. I got two answers. දන්නා time ඇති. කොහමම කියන්න බලන්න මට answers ටික. There are 11 of y'all. I got two answers. Okay, I got three answers. Four answers. Five answers. Six answers. Kwanit taita gala. There are five more. Let me know in the chat box quickly. Four more. All right, let's look at this. A student has prepared a standard solution of NaCl. එයා හදලා තියෙනවා standard solution එක. එයාට ඕන වෙලා තියෙන්නේ 1 moles per cubic decimeter. හැබැයි හදද්දි volumetric flask එකේ already kerosene තිබිලා. Does NaCl dissolve in kerosene? What do you think? Give me a thumbs up. Not a thumbs up, sorry. Let me know. Do you think NaCl dissolves in kerosene or not? No. Why? NaCl dissolves in water. එක අපිට හොඳටම sure නේ because it's salt, right? So NaCl dissolves in water. We know if NaCl dissolves in water, NaCl is polar, water is also polar. හැබැයි අපි දන්නවා kerosene is non-polar. If NaCl is polar, kerosene is non-polar, ඒ දෙන dissolve වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? We know concentration equals number of moles divided by volume. දැන් මම මට answers දෙකම ආවයි. Higher lower කියන දෙකම ආවා. Let's see. So this is my volumetric flask now. දැන් මේ level එකට තමයි මම fill කරන්න ඕනේ. මෙතන already there's a bit of kerosene. NaCl doesn't dissolve in kerosene. මම NaCl moles ගාන දාන්නේ measurement එක I mean I do the calculation, right? If I want this much, I do a calculation and I know how much NaCl I want and then I put it. එතකොට NaCl moles ගාන වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක මම calculation එකකින් කරන්නේ. It has nothing to do with the volumetric flask. Is that clear to you? NaCl කොච්චරක් ගන්නවද කියන එක volumetric flask එකට අයිති දෙයක් නෙවෙයිනේ. Remember, I did a calculation and I measured and I put it. Do you remember that? So, number of moles of NaCl will not change. Is that clear? අන්ත තේරුණේ දෙක. Others?
Clear, teacher.
Okay. Now we have to play with the volume. Now I have to fill up to this mark, right? I'm going to fill up to this mark with water. Water fill kerosene to get water fill කරන්න බෑනේ. So I fill up to this mark. Is there less water or more water than what should have been? හරිනම් තියෙන ගානට වඩා දැන් මම fill කරලා තියෙන අඩුයින්ද වතුර? Is it less water or more water than what I should fill? Less. ඇයි මෙතන kerosene තිබුණ නැත්තම් මම මේ මුළු ඔක්කොම water fill කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් kerosene තියෙන හින්දා kerosene වල amount එක I can't fill no because there's already kerosene there. එහෙනම් මම දැන් fill කරන water amount එක අඩුයිනේ. Now I fill less amount of water. If there was no kerosene, I would have filled all this, right? I would have filled all this with water. Now there is kerosene. ඒ කියන්නේ මම වතුර අඩු වෙන්නේද fill කරන්නේ. So water here is less. Is that clear to you? හරි. Water less means volume is less. If the volume is less, what happens to the concentration? If the volume is less, what happens to the concentration? මම ඕන amount එකට වඩා අඩු වෙන්නේ water fill කරලා තියෙන. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මගේ volume එක අඩුයි. එහෙනම් concentration වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ නේද? Then the concentration should be higher. So this student has wanted 1 moles per cubic decimeter solution, but එයාගේ අතින් වෙච්ච පොඩි mistake එකක් හින්දා because he didn't clean the volumetric flask properly. Now එයා හිතන් ඉන්නේ 1 moles per cubic decimeter කියලා, but the solution has a higher concentration than 1 moles per cubic decimeter. Make a ලියන විදිය ලියන්නම්. Answer I will write it here, but did you understand first of all? Give me a thumbs up if you understood. Others? Okay. Question එක ලියාගෙන මේ answer එක ලියා ගන්න. This is a bit of a creative question that you might be like there's a potential of this question being asked in like a term test or a provincial test or even the O levels, right? So එක හින්දා මේ question එක මීටර ලස්සනට හයි. මම දැන් ඔළුවෙන් එකපාරට හදලා අහපු හින්දා it's not very organized, but the meaning is clear, right? හරි. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ question එක ලියලා මම මෙන්න මේ diagrams ලියලා තියෙනවා එහෙම you can draw. Just so that you get a clearer idea, and then මම මේ answer එක යටින් ලියන්න. Copy that down. like this. Quickly write my mind. Done writing? Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute to quickly write. How did am I? Give me a thumbs up if you have finished. Okay. I'm gonna move on then, nah? Because that feels like enough time. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. I will give you 1 more minute, huh? I'll put a timer. Huh? No, it won't. Okay. So now we are talking about extraction of salt from seawater. So let me get that part to the whiteboard. Okay. All right. So you know that we extract salt from seawater, right? Muhude water වලින් තමයි අපි salt ගන්න. Okay. So it's not a very simple process. So you might think, okay, ocean seawater is anyway salty. So යාට ඒකේ sample එකක් කරන් water එක evaporate කරාම salt එක ඉතුරු වෙයි කියලා අපි හිතන්නේ. But it's not as simple as that. It's a bit more complicated. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි in science, when we say salts is not always NaCl. අපි ගොඩක් ionic compounds වලට කියන්නේ salts කියලා. NaCl වලට අපි commonly, like in day-to-day life, we call it salt. That is true. But in science, we call most of the ionic compounds as salts. But salts කියලා කිව්වම it's not just NaCl. එතකොට ocean seawater ගත්තාම there are so many different types of salts. ඒ salts ඔක්කොගෙම අපි NaCl extract කරගන්න ඕනේ. Okay? So there are various ionic compounds like MgCl2, magnesium chloride is an ionic compound, magnesium sulfate is an ionic compound, calcium sulfate is an ionic compound, calcium carbonate ionic compound, sodium chloride ionic compound. මේ ඔක්කොම අපි science වලින් කියන්නේ salts කියලා. මේ මෑන් අපි and all of these are present in seawater. From these we have to extract NaCl. බලමු අපි කොහොමද මේක කරන්න කියලා. Okay. Okay. Salt is extracted and produced from seawater in salt tons. Has anybody been to a salt ton? Salt ton in Sinhala we call it Lunulevaya. Has anybody been to a salt ton?
Yes, teacher.
You have? Where?
Yes. Like in the way where I was going to Jaffna.
All right. Okay. Where has Desindu seen a salt ton? Have seen out from outside, no? Hambantot. Okay.
Like it smells odd, teacher. I can't stay in that place.
Hmm?
Like we can't stay in that place. Like it smells bad.
It doesn't smell bad, no. Samar Vita, maybe maybe you visited during the rainy season when salt is actually not being dried. Could be. Maybe.
Like they were like making salt. Like it was a starting period when they were making salt. That's it. It
Oh.
was like.
Right. Okay. Desindu says the smell is nice. So maybe it's subjective. It maybe depends on the preference. So where do you think there are salt tons in Sri Lanka? So Desindu, yes. Those are the primary locations where there are salt tons in Sri Lanka. Others, what do you think? In Sri Lanka, where can you find salt tons? Kian Balan. Okay.
It's Gaul side.
Okay.
Mostly in like coastal beach sites, we can see.
Not all beach sides. Actually, most of the beach sides in Sri Lanka does not have salt tons. Only like specific locations, like specific districts. Hambantota, yes. Hambantota, okay. Puttalam, okay. Hambantotයි පුත්තලමේ තමයි ගොඩක් ටිකක් significant salt tons තියෙන්නේ, but there are also Jaffna වල I'm not very sure. Probably Jaffna.
Only in some places, teacher, not in most of
All
the
right.
places.
Jaffna වල නේ. Even Mana වල නම් definitely there are salt tons. Mana වල there are salt tons. පුත්තලම් හම්බන්තොට Mana Jaffna ඒ ටික තමයි මම දන්න තරමින් salt tons තියෙන්නේ. And also, I think Trinco also has salt tons, but not as big as other areas. මොකද Trinco වලට පොඩ rain එක ටිකක් එනවා from northeast monsoon. ඒකද Trinco වල එච්චර නැහැ, but there are salt tons. So yes, very good point. In Sri Lanka, the biggest salt is in Hambantota. Hambantota tamai Elephant Pass. Elephant Pass wala yes. Elephant Pass salt on එකක් තියෙනවා තමයි. Saltons are there, yes. So එතකොට Hambantota වල තමයි biggest එක, and Puttalam also has quite a big like area of saltons. So saltern එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ එකක් නෙවෙයි. Right? එතකොට එතන කීප දෙනෙක් එකතු කීප කියන්නේ එක එක කටේ salt manufacturers ලා they make saltons. Okay? So එතකොට I have visited the Puttalam saltern, but unfortunately I was not able to visit Hambantota. When I visited the Puttalam saltern, I will check some pictures and send you. ඒ කාලේ පොඩ වැස්ස කාලේ ඒගොල්ලන් salt හදන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක හින්දා මට salt බලන්න බැරි වුණා, but I saw some salt එක ගොඩ ගහලා තියෙනවා දැක්කා. But I learned a lot. It was definitely an interesting process. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Separating techniques used are evaporation and crystallization. ඒක අපි පස්සේ කතා කරමු. Because when we are learning the process, you will see කොතනද evaporation වෙන්නේ and කොතනද crystallization වෙන්නේ. So we'll talk about it later. හරි. Then පහුගිය කාලේ, like maybe a year ago වගේ, so there was this talk about how salt is imported from other countries to Sri Lanka. Salt එක කාලෙකෙන් තාමත් කරනවා ඇති. I'm not very sure about that. But import කරා. ඒ කාලේ ගොඩක් ඔය influencers ලා, TikTokers ලා, content creators ලාම videos දැම්මා. ඒ වෙන funny videos, like, you know, humorous videos where they are like, okay, Sri Lanka is surrounded by ocean. ඇයි අපි salt import කරන්නේ? මෙච්චර වටේම මුහුද තියෙන එක අපිට salt හදා ගන්න බැරිද? මට උනත් පුළුවන් ගිහිල්ලා මුහුද වතුර ටිකක් අරගෙන ඒක evaporate කරලා salt හදන්න කිය just funny videos හැදුවා ගොඩක්. Do you think just because Sri Lanka is an island surrounded by the ocean all around it, do you think it's possible for us to produce salt all over the country, as in all around the country? From Jaffna ඉඳන් මේ වටේටම හැම coastal area එකකම අපිට පුළුවන් ද salt හදන්න? Definitely not. Ekai, there are like very specific locations all around Sri Lanka. We have ocean. Aye namme thank you back vitara. Hambantota, as you all said, yes. Puttalam, as you all said, yes. Shrinkavala තියෙනවා, Jaffna වලක් තියෙනවා, Mena තියෙනවා, Elephant Pass. ඒ වගේ thank you back ඔයගොල්ලන් කිව්වනේ. එතකොට මේ thank වල විතරයි ඒ අරෙන්න තව thank you back තියෙන පුළුවන්, because maybe we missed some locations, but it's not all over the country. If you take Colombo for an example, there are no saltons. If you take Gampaha, Kalutara, Batiklo පැත්තනම් මට හරියටම sure නැහැ කොහොමද කියලා. එතකොට හැමතැනම has saltons. අයියේ there are specific geographical and environmental factors. There are specific geographical and environmental factors. Let's see what these are. It should be a flat land closer to the coastal area. That's obvious, no? Flat land එකක් වෙන්න බෑනේ. මෙම slope එකක් තියෙන land එකක අපිට salt හදන්න බෑ. මොකද මුහුදු වතුර ගෙනාවත් ඒ මුහුදු වතුර ටික ආයෙමත් ගලාගෙන යනවා. So it has to be a flat land and it has to be close to the coastal area so that we can get sea water. There should be a clay soil with minimum percolation of water. What does that mean? Based on your experience, what is the type of soil? ගොඩක්ම තියෙන නිකන් clay, the sand, the කොයි වගේ soil එකක්ද ගොඩක්ම coastal areas වල තියෙන්නේ? Based on your experience.
Sand, like sand. Sea
Okay.
sand mostly.
Okay. Others? Based on your experience. Okay. Wet sand. Okay. Others? I mean, I hope all of you have experience going to a beach. Small grainy sand, yes. So most of the beaches that we have visited, yes, it's not clay, ne? ගොඩක් හැම beach එකම වගේ අපේ ගිහලා තියෙන වල තියෙන sand. අන්න ඒකයි ප්‍රශ්න ළමයි. Why? When there is sandy soil, මෙහෙම sand තියෙනකොට පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි හදන්නේ we want to bring salt water, sea water ගෙනල්ලා sea water අපිට store කරලා තියන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙහෙම පුරවලා තියාගන්න ඕනේ and then we have to let the water evaporate. එතකොට salt එක ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ. හැබැයි අපිට මෙහෙම water ටික ගෙනල්ලා store කරන්න බෑ when we have sand soil. Why? මේ sand වලින් ඔක්කොම water ටික leak වෙලා earth එකට යනවා. ground එකට යනවා. එතකොට අපිට water ටික store කරගන්න බෑ. හැබැයි if we have like clay soil එකක් තිබ්බොත් water මෙහෙම පල්ලෙහාට ඒක through යන්නේ නැහැ. So when I bring in water, I can store water nicely. මම වලක් කපලා clay soil තියෙන තැනක if I just dig like a hole and I fill it with water, the water will not penetrate through. It will stay. But if I dig like a hole where there is sandy soil and I fill the hole with water, all the water will leak into the earth. ඒක හින්දා අපිට තියෙන්න ඕනේ clay soil එකක් with minimum percolation of water. That means water should not leak through. එතකොට ළමයි මේ වගේ soil එකක් හැමතැනම coastal areas වල නැහැ. There are specific locations. So අන්න ඒ වගේ soil එකක් තියෙන තැනක තමයි අපිට saltern එකක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. It should be clay soil. What else? There should be a dry and hot climate with bright sunlight and wind throughout the year. And it also should be an area with minimum rainfall. Colombo, Gampaha, Ambalangoda, Gaul, ඊට පස්සේ මැදින් ගියොත් මේ පැත්තේ Trinco වලට පොඩ්ඩක් පල්ලෙන් Trinco වලටත් එනවා monsoonal rains. ඒ පැත්තේ ඒ වගේ ගොඩක් පැතිවල ලංකාවේ අපිට monsoonal rains එනවා. So we say that Sri Lanka has a very good climate, right? We have a very good climatic pattern where අපිට අවුවක් තියෙනවා වැස්සක් තියෙනවා. Perfect, right? So we get අපිට ඔයගලා හාති මෝසම් වැස්ස කියලා monsoonal rains. So we are experiencing 2 monsoonal rains. It's දැනගන්න ඕනේ ඔයගලා, but would be good for general knowledge. Northeast monsoon, southwest monsoon කියලා monsoonal rains දෙකක් එනවා. ඒතර ඒ රේන්ස් ගොඩක් මෙන්නේ වෙට් zone එකේ වට. ඒ කියන්නේ කොළඹ වගේ පැති වෙට් zone. ඊට පස්සේ monsoons වල මැද තව inter monsoonal කියලා තව වැස්ස තියෙනවා, right? So ඒකින්ද අපිට we have a lot of rain. But there are like specific locations in Sri Lanka with less rain. හම්බන්තොට වගේ පැති මාරම dry, right? හරිම dry, හරි hot, right? That is because it's very sunny. And there is minimum rainfall. Even areas like Puttala, Mausa, like that. So, are ඒ වගේ area එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Then මෙතන බලන්න dry. Dry means now even if you take like නිකන් රස්නේ පැත්තක් විතරක් වෙලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. It should also be dry. That means the atmosphere should not have much water vapor. Atmosphere එකේ water vapor වැඩි තියෙන්න බෑ. So මේ ඔක්කොම geographical and environmental factors satisfy වුණොත් විතරයි you can select that location for a saltern. Is that clear to all of you? Give me a thumbs up if it's clear. Okay. Percolating කියලා කියන්නේ මෙහෙම leak වෙන එක. It can penetrate through the ground. That is percolation. So if you take like sandy soil වල percolation වෙනවා. But if you take clay soil වල percolation ගොඩක් අඩුයි. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මෙහෙම soil එක තියනවා නම් මෙහෙම soil එක තියෙනවා soil එකේ මැදින් මෙහෙම වතුර චුට්ට earth එකට යනවා. පල්ලෙහාට යනවා. අර ඒකට තමයි අපි percolation කියලා කියන්නේ. So එතකොට අපේ ගත්තොත් clay වල එහෙම යන්නේ නැහැ. That's why we say minimum percolation. Sand වල ගොඩක් ඉඩ තියෙනවා. ඒකින්ද ඔක්කොම වතුර leak වෙලා පල්ලෙහාට ඒ කියන්නේ ground එකට යනවා, earth එකට යනවා. So that has maximum percolation. Is it clear now? Okay, others also, if you have any questions, you can ask. Let's move on. In the structure of a saltern, there are 3 types of tanks. Tanks ජාති 3ක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි large shallow tank, medium tank and small tank. In the next page, I have given the steps. ඒ ස්ටෙප්ස් ටික මම ලොකුවට go through කරන්නේ නැහැ දැම්ම. මම ඔයගන්ට diagram එකකින් කියා දෙන්නම්. And once I explain it, we will go through the steps. Okay. Give me a second. මම මුලින්ම ඔයගන්ට salt run එකේ picture එකක් වෙන්නනම් පුත්තලම් salt run එකේ pictures මගේ phone එකේ ඇති. ඒක මට දැන් හොයනකම් වෙලාව යන හින්දා මම ඔයගන්ට වෙනම salt run එකක් පෙන්නන්නම්. salt run එකක් තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ. It's like a nice picture. මම යන කාලේ වැස්ස. ඒකින්ද හරියට මෙහෙම ලස්සනට පේන්නේ නැහැ. It was very ugly as in you can't see the Salton very nicely when I went to Puttala. ඔගලන් ගාවත් ඔගලන් ගියපු Saltons වල pictures එම තියෙනවා group එකේ දාන්න ළමයි. Right? Because මම salt extract කරන කාලෙක Salton එකකට ගිහිලා නැහැ ඇත්තටම. I was not able to go. But this is kind of like the Salton. හරියට නිකන් from afar you see it like a paddy field. Paddy field එකක වගේ squares, rectangles වගේ තියෙනවා. ඕවට තමයි අපි tanks කියලා කියන්නේ. Let me show another picture. ගොඩක් ඈතින් පේන picture එකක්, something like මේ තියෙන්නේ salts හැදුනට පස්සේ. Oh, that's interesting. I have seen the extraction, the way they are like taking salt with something called a rake එකකින් එකතු කරන එකනේ salt එකතු කරනවා. tanks වල එකතු වෙන salt එක collect කරලා ගෙනියනවා. දැන් මම මේ process එක ඔයගලන්ට from A to Z I'm going to explain this, so you have to use your imagination. මොකද මට මෙතන salt එකක් වෙන එක පෙන්වන්න මම බලන වීඩියෝ එකක් තියෙනවද කියලා එහෙම තිබ්බොත් මම එවන්නම්. මට කවුරු මතක් කරන්න හදිස්සි මම එව්වේ නැත්තම්. But I will explain the process in a way that is imaginable, so you imagine it in your head. Okay. So we have 3 types of tanks now. එකක් තමයි large shallow tank. Then we have a medium tank. Then we have like a small tank. So this is the large shallow tank. This is the medium tank. And this is the small tank. May tanks kila kiyane lamai. In the ground itself, we have dug like rectangular shaped, what do you call them? Like holes in the ground. Like this. මෙන්න මේවට තමයි අපි tanks කියලා කියන්නේ. පොළොවේම තමයි අපි හාරලා මේව හදාගෙන තියෙන්නේ. So some of these are like quite deep and they're quite large. We call them large shallow tanks. Some of them are medium sized but they're not very shallow. Shallow කියන්නේ ළමයි ගැඹුර අඩුයි. The depth is less. But medium tanks වල ඊට වඩා size එක අඩුයි. Depth එක ටිකක් වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Then we have small tanks. They are the smallest of size. මේ rectangle එකේ size එක පොඩි. මේවට තමයි අපි tanks කියලා කියන්නේ. Then මොකද කරන්නේ? I bring in ocean water. I bring in sea water. ඔන්න මම sea water මේකට එවනවා. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් during the high tide means වඩදේ. In Sinhala we call it වඩදය. During high tide, the tidal currents are very high. එතකොට automatically මේක flow වෙනවා tanks වලට. Because the Salton is right next to the sea now. So, මුහුදෙන් වතුර මෙහෙම Salton එකට එනවා. High tide time. But low tide we call it බාධය. During the low tide, tides are very, the tidal currents are very low. ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට අපි pump එකක් දාලා ගන්න ඕනේ වතුර. Somehow we fill the large tank with water, sea water. Now I told you, sea water has many different types of salts. NaCl විතරක් නෙවෙයි එක එක salts ಜಾති ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. Then a large tank එකට ඕන water ගේනවා. Now what happens? Now the sun is shining brightly. because the solvents are operated in dry, hot climate with bright sunlight. When sun is there, sun is out there, what happens is that the water will evaporate. Lavanya, can you excuse me for 2 minutes? Not 2 minutes, then a
Teacher, teacher,
Okay, Lamaya. Can you all hear me? Okay.
yes, teacher.
I'm sorry I took 2 minutes more than 2 minutes. I took 4 minutes. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, so as we were saying, Sea water floats to the large shallow tank if it's high tide, but if it's low tide නිකම්ම එන්නේ නැහනේ. ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට pump එකක් use කරලා sea water pump කරනවා large tank එකට. Now the sun is shining brightly. I will explain that. That's a good question. So the question is, Sri Lankan salt is white in color, then how to make rose salt? Rose salt කියලා කියන්නේ, I think what you mean is like the Himalayan salt, right? Rose පාට තියෙන Himalayan salt එක තියෙනවා. There's another a type of salt that is used for cosmetics. I can't remember the name. So there are different types of salts like that. So I will come to that part
These are
after
the
I finish.
bath salt, right?
Bath salt, yes. There's a special name
Yeah,
for it. I can't
I
remember.
also thought to ask that question, Tisha. How they make pink salt?
Yes, pink salt. That's what it's called. And also rock salt, yes. There are different types of salt. So I will come to that once I explain how the extraction process is done. And I will also tell you why they're expensive. That's a question, right? I will tell you how that happens. So anyways, now the sun is shining brightly. So what will happen is that the water will evaporate. So obviously when the temperature is high, the water starts to evaporate. If you take the concentration of salt, we know concentration equals number of moles over volume. Then මෙතන තියෙන salt එක evaporate වෙන්නේ නැහැනේ. So nothing happens to the number of moles of salt. Salt වලට මොනවත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. But the water is evaporating. Right? Salt evaporate වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකින්ද salt වල moles ගාන change වෙන්නේ නැහැ. However, water is evaporating, so the volume will decrease. When the volume decreases, what happens to the concentration? When volume decreases, what happens to the concentration? Concentration increases. Okay, so now the water is gradually evaporating. පොඩ්ඩ evaporate වෙනවා. Water evaporate වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ volume එක චුට්ට අඩු වෙනවා. When the volume is slowly decreasing, concentration is slowly increasing. So පොඩ්ඩ concentration එක වැඩි වෙලා, when the concentration of salt is, double the initial concentration. පටන් ගද්දි තිබ්බ concentration එකට වඩා දැන් concentration එක double වෙලා. ඇයි එන්න concentration එක වැඩි වුණානේ. Now the concentration has become double the initial concentration. There you can see මොකක් හරි එකක් මෙහෙම crystals හැමතැනම හැදෙනවා. හැදිලා ඒ ඔක්කොම crystals මෙහෙම පල්ලෙහාට precipitate වෙනවා. Crystals are formed and these crystals are precipitating at the bottom. Okay, that is crystallization. We have learned crystallization already. So crystals are formed and they precipitate at the bottom. May crystals lavilla calcium carbonate. This is a type of salt. This is an ionic compound that is present in seawater. So in the large shallow tank, when the sun is shining, water will evaporate, so the volume will go down, then the concentration increases, and when the concentration is double the initial concentration, we can see one ionic compound form crystals, and those crystals precipitate. And what is that? Calcium carbonate. Up to that point, is it clear? Give me a thumbs up. Others? Mayumdi, Rashika, Resindi, Savinu, okay. Hard. Only the calcium carbonate precipitate whenever. Precipitate උනාට පස්සේ the remaining water, calcium carbonate ටික මම ගන්න නැහැ, remaining water ටික I bring them to the medium tank. Now the remaining water is filled in the medium tank. Calcium carbonate, I will then මේ water ටික medium tank එකට ගත්තට පස්සේ I can separate the calcium carbonate. So salt එකකින් salt විතරක් නෙවෙයි calcium carbonate ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. Okay? Now the water is in the medium tank. Now sun is still out there, okay? මේක මේ එක දවසකින් instant noodles වගේ වෙන දෙයක් නෙවෙයි, right? It takes time. A few weeks වගේ ටිකක් කල් යන වැඩක්. හිමින් එහෙම තමයි වෙන්නේ. Okay? එතකොට now again the sun is still there, no? Now here there is water, ne? So just like previously කලින් වගේම water ඔහොම තවත් evaporate වෙවි යනවා. Water will keep on evaporating. Water evaporate whenever means concentration equals number of moles over volume. Number of moles of salt වලට මොනවත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ because salt is not getting evaporated. But since water is getting evaporated, the volume decreases. Volume decreases means concentration increases. Then concentration කොහොම පොඩ වැඩි වෙලා when the concentration is four times the initial concentration. 4 times initial. Method double, like twice the initial concentration. Now when the concentration is 4 times the initial concentration, you can see another ionic compound crystallizing. Another ionic compound crystallizing. Crystals hadila. All the crystals will go down and precipitate like this. What is this compound? That is calcium sulfate. That is also a salt or an ionic compound found in seawater. And that will be crystallized and separated in the second tank or the medium tank. Up to that point, is it clear? Others? Okay. Then what happens next? The remaining water. දැන් මෙතන medium tank එකේ calcium sulfate ටික precipitate වෙනවනේ. උනාට පස්සේ ඉතුරු වෙන water ටික I bring to the small tank. I bring to the small tank. Like this. Okay. Now still the sun is shining brightly. I up salt දාලා තියෙන්නේ dry hot climate with bright sunlight. So sun is continuously out there. During the daytime, sun is always out there. So water will keep on evaporating. Water evaporate වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. Now we know concentration equals number of moles over volume. Water constantly evaporates. That means volume තවත් අඩු වෙලා concentration increases even more. Now here the concentration double with the calcium carbonate precipitate උනේ. Here when the concentration is 4 times calcium sulfate precipitated. Now when the concentration is 10 times the initial concentration, what precipitates? මෙන්න මෙහෙම කෙනෙක් precipitate වෙනවා. And that is NaCl. This is the salt that we bought. Now there's a small problem. What is that? Then maybe NaCl precipitate වෙවි ඉන්න අතරේ before NaCl finishes precipitating, another two salts start to precipitate. NaCl precipitate වෙවි ඉන්නකොට මුලින්ම NaCl තමයි start කරන්නේ. When the concentration is 10 times the initial concentration, NaCl will start to precipitate. And as it is precipitating, two more compounds will precipitate. එකක් තමයි magnesium chloride, which is in seawater, that will also precipitate. තව කෙනෙක් precipitate වෙනවා. What is that? Another one will precipitate, forming crystals, and that is MgSO4, magnesium sulfate. Now, අපිට ඕන විදිහට NaCl විතරක් ගන්න විදියක් නැහැ, because as NaCl is precipitating, MgCl2 and MgSO4 will also precipitate. So NaCl තමයි මුලින්ම precipitate වෙන්නේ. එයා precipitate වෙවි ඉද්දි තමයි magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate will precipitate. So anyhow, all three of them are precipitating together in the small tank. Is this clear? Up to this point, is it clear? Ashwita, Desindu, Rashmika, Risindi, Savinu, Tinura. Okay. Now, me precipitate වෙච්ච salt එක අරගෙන water ටික විතරක් ගත්තාම now ළමයි actually this magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate are very bitter. හරි තිත්තයි ඒගොල්ලන්. ඒක හින්දා මෙන්න මේ mixture එක ගත්තාම sodium chloride is salty, no? But magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate in the total mixture is very bitter in taste. Even the salt එක the remaining water that remaining water also has a bitter taste. This remaining water will remaining water we call it bittern because it is bitter. Or we also call it another name, mother liquor. We call the remaining water bittern or mother liquor. මේ water එකත් එකේ ගොඩක් දේවල් වලට use කරනවා construction activities වලට. ඒ වගේ සමහර tasks වලට use කරනවා මේක. So එතකොට salt එකක් operate කරද්දී even the bittern can be sold to some people. Okay? So, a remaining water ටිකනේ. Now, what are the salts here precipitated? NaCl, MgCl2 and MgSO4. Now, I still don't have salt because salt is NaCl, but I didn't get salt alone. Salt is together with magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate. මම මොකද කරන්නේ මේ මුළු mixture එකම ගන්නවා. I have no choice, no, they are all together. So I take this entire mixture. මම මොකද කරන්නේ මේ mixture එකම මෙන්න මේ වගේ piles ගහනවා. Like prisms වගේ. You know prisms no මෙන් prisms වගේ I pile them up. ඒක සමහර විට Saltern එකක් දැකලා තියෙන අය දැකලා ඇති. I saw that. ඒක වැස්ස කාලේ වුණාට piles කීපයක් ඉතුරු වෙලා තිබ්බා. So in the Saltern now sodium chloride, magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate, that salt, those salts ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම mixture එකම අරගෙන මෙහෙම prisms වගේ piles ගහනවා. Piles ගහලා we keep them in piles for 6 months. A period of 6 months. So what are in these piles? Sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate. So all these three are there in these piles. Okay. Then, for 6 months, this is what happens. In the atmosphere, Lama, you know there is water vapor. No? Atmosphere ke water vapor තියෙනවා. Atmosphere එකේ තියෙන water vapor වලට තමයි අපි moisture කියලා කියන්නේ. Moisture means water vapor in the atmosphere. So there are water vapor in the atmosphere. So the thing is that Over a period of 6 months, these magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate, they will absorb the water vapor in the atmosphere. ඒගොල්ලන් atmosphere එකේ තියෙන water vapor absorb කරනවා. Like this. Absorb කරලා මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒ water vapor එකත් එක්කම ඒගොල්ලන් දියවි යනවා. They absorb the moisture or the water vapor in the atmosphere, and by absorbing those, they kind of get dissolved and ඒගොල්ලන් මෙහෙම පල්ලෙහාට වැටෙනවා. දියවි මෙහෙම පල්ලෙහාට වැටෙනවා. They just form a puddle around the pyre. All magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate over a period of 6 months will absorb the moisture in the atmosphere, and by absorbing that moisture, they will dissolve down and form piles. Form puddles. But sodium chloride, we say, sodium chloride is not hygroscopic. Not hygroscopic means does not absorb water vapor. Sodium chloride water vapor absorb කරන්නේ. So magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate will absorb the water vapor, and a water vapor absorb කළා ඒගොල්ලන් ඒකේ දිය වෙලා හැමම ගලාගෙන වැටෙනවා. වැටලා they form puddles around these piles. But sodium chloride is not like that, so they will not absorb the moisture and they will stay in the pile. So after 6 months, if you take these piles, magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate will not be there because they have absorbed the moisture and they have dissolved away. So only sodium chloride will remain after 6 months. අන්න එහෙම තමයි අපි sodium chloride ගන්න. So we take this sodium chloride and then ඉතින් පස්සේ අපිට තව purify කරලා තව clean කරලා ඊට පස්සේ we add iodine and all that, then that is how we get the table salt. So we can purify it more. This is how you extract salt from seawater. Is this clear to you, Lamai? Okay. Mama, I will give you time to draw this, but before that, shall we go through the steps? We'll first go through the steps. मैं तेरे में salt है, मैं कहते calcium sulfate, हरे calcium का. मैं नंग मैं कहते salt, हरे calcium sulfate, calcium carbonate, हरे के tanks तो इतने छोटे के तमाम में. Okay, wait. Still, give me more time. Right? We go through these steps, you draw it, and then I will tell you what Himalayan salt are. Himalayan salt consume kala thina kattinnada. Pink salt is also Himalayan salt, I think. Himalayan salt Himalayan salt නැතුව මම හිතන්නේ වෙන pink salt කියලා වෙන එකකුත් තියෙනවා. But they are special because of the place they are extracted. Normal salt නම් අපි ගන්න normal ocean like sea water වලින්නේ. Himalayan salt and this pink salt and all that. සමහර ඒවා නම් ළමයි නිකන් colouring දාලා තියෙනවා ගොඩක් කඩවල් වල. But ඒවා නෙවෙයි අපි කතා කරන original ඒවා. Right? It depends on where they are extracted, the place they are extracted from. So අපි ඒකට එමු මුලින්ම අපි මේ part එක discuss කරලා ඉමු. හරි. දැන් අර steps දෙකම තමයි මේ flow chart එකේ තියෙන්නේ. So we will go through it one by one. Seawater is brought to the large shallow tank. If it is high tide, seawater is allowed to flood in. If it is low tide, seawater will be pumped into the tank. On a large tank එකට එනවා කියලා මම කිව්වේ ඒක. Water in the sea water will be evaporated by sunlight. When the concentration is twice or double the initial concentration, calcium carbonate will crystallize and precipitate. Then this water is transferred to the medium tank. Water evaporates more. When the concentration is 4 times the initial concentration, calcium sulfate will crystallize and precipitate. Then the water is flowed to the small tank and water evaporates further. When the concentration is about 10 times the initial concentration, NaCl will crystallize and precipitate. Then what evaporates further? තවත් evaporate වෙනවා. තවත් evaporate වෙද්දී තවත් concentration වැඩි වෙලා while NaCl is still precipitating, magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate will also precipitate. This gives salt a bitter taste. The remaining solution, we call it the mother liquor or the bitter. Salt precipitated in the small tank, NaCl, MgCl2 and MgSO4. We take it out. We heap it in prismatic piles. Mem piles with a heap karanawa. And we store it for a period of 6 months. Magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate will absorb moisture in the atmosphere and get dissolved. Pure sodium chloride is not hygroscopic. Not hygroscopic means they don't absorb moisture, so they will stay in the pile and stay as solid. අය ටික තමයි අපි අරගෙන තව further purify කරන්න. බාන මෙතන අපි කියුවා නේද separating techniques are evaporation and crystallization කියලා. So we can see, what is evaporating. So evaporation is there. Salts are getting crystallized. So crystallization is also a separating technique here. Flow chart clear the lamai. Then I will give you some time to draw the diagrams. But up to this point, all clear? All right.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So අපි questions එකනේ ඔයගලන් ආපු questions discuss කරන්න කලින් මේ diagram එක පොඩක් අඳගෙන ඉමු. හරිද? මේ diagram එක අඳින්න කියලා කියන්නේ I mean the flow chart is there on the notes, so ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ, but sometimes when you have it in a diagram like an image visually තියනකොට මතක තියාගන්න ලේසි. Therefore it would be nice if you can draw this. Can you quickly draw this? How long do you think I should give you for this? හරි ඔයගොල්ලෝ draw කරන්න පටන් ගන්නකො. Don't try to perfect your drawing, just schematically draw. Large tank, medium tank, small tank, මොනවාද වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ drawing එක මම explain කරපු ටික. Quickly draw. If anybody is done, let me know. Then I can get an idea about how much time you will need for this. Rama, I will give you exactly 2 more minutes because some of you are done. For others, I will give 2 minutes. I set a timer. Okay, time is up. Shall we move on? Others? Okay, now that extraction of salt from seawater is done, now Himalayan salt, yes. So one of the question was Himalayan salt kya hua? So why is it expensive and how to make rose salt? And then somebody said about pink salt and cover rock salt. Okay. ඒක වෙන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. So generally අපි salt ගත්තාම දැන් අපි දැන් මෙතන කතා කරේ salt is extracted from sea water, right? So ඒවට කියන අපි sea salt කියලා. But some other salt we extract from rocks. ඒවා වෙන්නේ, so this is a bit of an interesting story. Himalayan salt ගමු. Himalayan salt වල වෙන්නේ in the Himalayas region. The Himalayas තියෙන කොහෙද? Where is Himalayas? Mountain range.
In India.
Okay. Do others agree? Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Nepal. Yeah, not only in India. Okay, good. Himalayas is found in India, but not just in India. India, Pakistan, itude Nepal, Bhutan, ඔය areas ඔක්කොම ටික cover වෙනවා. Because Himalayas is a huge mountain range. Himalayas කියන්නේ එක mountain එකක් නෙවෙයි. එක mountain range එකක්. Okay, එතකොට ඒ mountain range එක ඔය India, Pakistan, Nepal වල ලොකු part එකක් තියෙනවා. එහෙමම spread වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එන්නේ ඒ Himalayas වල tallest mountain එක තමයි අපි Mount Everest කියලා කියන්නේ. So Himalayas region එකේ there is I can't remember මොකක් හරි නමක් තියෙන මට නම නම් මතක නැහැ. ඒකේ තියෙන වෙනම salt mine එකක්. ඒ වෙලා තියෙන ළමයි a long time back, like maybe millions of years ago, ඒ Himalayan salt ගන්න specific තැනක් තියෙනවා. Himalayan salt හැමතැනින්ම ගන්න බෑ. Okay? So Himalaya salt ගන්න specific තැනක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තැනේ ඒ mine එකේ නම මට මතක නැහැ හරියටම, ඒක මම පොඩ්ඩක් හොයලා කියන්නම්. But anyways, a long time back there was an ocean. එතන මුහුදක් තිබ්බා. Okay? But කාලයක් එක්ක, I mean this was probably millions of years ago. Maybe thousands or millions of years ago. But with time, that entire ocean has been evaporated. We don't know what the earth has gone through. අපි දන්නේ පොඩ්ඩ කාලයයිනේ. But the earth has gone through a lot. So during that time, that entire ocean has evaporated. එහෙම තමයි කියන්නේ science වල. ඒ මුළු ocean එකම evaporate වුණාම ඒ ocean එකේ තිබ්බ salt ටික ඔක්කොම කියන්නේ salt එක ඉතුරු වෙලා. Okay, the entire ocean has evaporated and the salt has remained. ඊළඟට earth එකේ ඔය එක ඊට පස්සේ ආයි mountains කැඩිලා ඔය plate tectonics එහාට මෙහාට වෙලා කොහම හරි ඔය salt ටික තනිකර පොළව යටට තද වෙලා. Okay, so මේකේ like there's a full very interesting story. මට තනින් තන තමයි මතක. කොහම හරි ඉස්සර ocean එකක් තිබිලා තියෙනවා millions of years ago. In the now ocean ekaka, you know, salts, different types of salts are there, water is there, and then over the time the water has been completely evaporated and only the salt has remained. A salt tika ඊට පස්සේ mountains එහාට මෙහාට වෙලා පස්සේ plate tectonics එහාට මෙහාට move වෙලා ඔය salt ටික ඔක්කොම පොළවට තද වෙලා. It has been like highly pressured and pressed to the ground. හරිද? එතකොට එයා එහෙම ground එකේ press වෙලා ඉන්නකොට ගොඩක් කල් high pressure එකේ ඉන්නකොට මේ salt එක ඔක්කොම rock වෙනවා. Like they become hard and they become rocks. ඒවට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ rock salts කියලා. So Himalayan salt is actually a rock salt. ඒක අපි නිකන් මූදෙන් වතුර ටික evaporate කරලා මේ normal salt වගේ ගන්නෙ නැහැ. ඒක අපි ඒ rock එක කඩ තමයි salt එක extract කරන්නේ. ඒතර ඒ Himalayas a particular region එකෙන් ඒක extract කරන ඉඳලා we call it Himalayan salt. So ඒතර අහලා තිබ්බනේ ඇයි yes ඇයි pink color කියලා. ඒ pink color එකේ ඉන්නේ ළම එක minerals වලින්. So there were multiple minerals. Again කොහමරි ගොඩක්ම තියෙන iron oxide. දැන් අපි දන්නවනේ ඉඳ ළමයි මලකඩ කනවා කියන්නේ rusting. Rust happens because of iron oxide, because of a type of iron oxide. Okay. ඒ වගේ දැන් මලකඩ is not a good thing no. ඒ වගේ එහෙම මලකඩ වගේ නරක නැති there's another type of iron oxide. Iron oxide means iron and oxygen has reacted. ඒ iron oxides වලින් තමයි ගොඩක් ඔය pink color එක එන්නේ. So දැන් ඔය ඉතුරුච්ච salt එක high pressure හින්දා rock වෙලානේ තියෙන්නේ. It has hardened and it has become a rock. So it is a rock under the ground. So yeah, under the ground ඉන්නකොට ground එකේ තව එක එක minerals එකේ එයා mix වෙලා. එතකොට ඒක mineral එකක් තමයි iron oxide. That means iron and oxygen react කරලා ඉන්න එක. And iron oxide has like a pink color. ඒකයි Himalayan salt pink color. හැබැයි ඇත්තටම එතන ලොකුවට iron oxide නෑ Himalayan salt වල. ඒකින්ද ඒක අපි consume කරා කියලා අපිට කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්නේ නෑ. Himalayan salt is just like normal salt. ගොඩාක් sodium chloride තමයි තියෙන්නේ. A little bit of iron oxide is there that gives like this flushed light pink color. Okay. Is that clear?
Tisha, how is bath salt made?
Bath salt වල කතාව. So ඊට කලින් තව පොඩි දෙයක් මම දැන් කියන්න හිටියේ මොකද්ද? Oh, rock salt mine in Poland. Interesting. So what did you observe there? Was it like under the ground? And did you see like the color of the rock salt that was mined? Was it also like a pink color or just a white color? Because iron oxide නැති තැන්වල white color එකට තමයි තියෙන්නේ rock salt. එක එක shades වල colors තියෙන අතරම rock salt වල ඒ colors ඔක්කොම ඉන්නේ minerals එකක ඔය ground එකේ තියෙන minerals එක mix වෙලා salt. It was ash white, yes. Iron oxide තියෙනවා තමයි ගොඩක් pink color තියෙන්නේ. So එතන ඔයගලන්ගේ questions keep එකට answer වුණා. Himalayan salt කියන්නේ මොනවාද? Why is it pink color? Desindu, did that answer your question? People lick the walls. Yes, yes. That's interesting. That's interesting, definitely. If you have, do you have pictures with me of that? Can you share it in the group? Class එකේ වල දාන්නකො group එකේ, because I would also like to see videos එහෙම තියෙනවා නම් දාන්න. Because I have never, I mean, maybe in videos, ඒත් මම ඔය Poland වල එහෙම දැකලා නැහැ. මම Himalayan rock salt නම් මේ not live, I mean documentaries වල දැකලා තියෙනවා, but ඒක දැකලා නැහැ. Send some photos and videos so all of us can see. Okay, anyways, Ashwita have a ප්‍රශ්න. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන් have Himalayan salt, then why is it pink in color and why and rock salt ගැන අහුවානේ. So ඒක ටික හරි. ඒතර හැමතැනම rock salt හැදෙනවා වගේ. ඔය oceans තිබිලා ඒව evaporate වෙලා salt ඉතුරු වෙලා ඊට පස්සේ ඔය පස්සේ tectonic plates එහෙම එහාට මෙහාට move වෙදී ඒ salt ඔක්කොම පොළවට තද වෙලා with high pressure then they become rock. Then what Ashwita asked about bath salt. So එතකොට bath salt වල කතාව මේකයි. සමහර pink salt තියෙනවා Himalayan salt කියලා නෙවෙයි ඒවා විකුණන්නේ. They are just sold as pink salt and they can be used as bath salt too. Bath salt වලට ඊට පස්සේ සමහර ලාවට කැම වලට දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ cosmetic ඒවට පාවිච්චි කරන මේ body scrubs ඒවට එහෙම පාවිච්චි කරනවා. ඔය normally pink salt කියලා විකුණන ඒවා, pink salt කියලා sell කරන market කරන ඒවා can be two types. එක්කෝ they can be actual rock salt. So rock salts තියෙන Himalayas වල විතරක් නෙවෙයිනේ. Even around Pakistan region, Pakistan, Afghanistan ඒ වගේ පැතිවල ගොඩක් හැදෙන rock salt, they are pink in color because of iron oxide. Himalayas region එකේ හැදෙන්නේ නැති වුණත් අර විදියටම හැදෙනවා අනිත් තැන්වල. කියන්නේ අනිත් සමහර තැන්වල not everywhere. So ඒවෙන් pink salt අරගෙන pink salt විදියට sell කරනවා. They're expensive. The Himalayan salt not expensive. Himalayan salt or other pink salt obtained from rocks, they are generally expensive. Why? Because they have to be mined. ඒවා පොළව හාර mine කරන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ ඒවා පිට I mean India or wherever ඒ පැතිවල ඉන්නේ අපිට import කරන්නේ. So transport ඒ ඔක්කොම එක ඉතින් obviously ගාන වැඩි. And they are not very like they're not found everywhere and they're quite rare. So ඒකින්ද ගාන වැඩි, they're expensive. ඒතර එක pink salt ජාතියක් තමයි Himalayas කතාව වගේම වෙන වෙන regions වල ඒ වගේම rock salt හැදෙනවා with like a slight pink color. So they are generally expensive. එහෙම නැත්තම් yes Metna, it's okay. One second Ashwita. One second Ashwita. Okay Metna. මට මතක් කරන recording එක එවන්න, but thanks for informing. Okay. Yes Ashwita, go ahead.
Tisha, like I once got a bath salt and a salt that we consume through food.
Mm-hmm.
But it's totally different than like Sri Lankan salt, and I got it from London. It is
Right.
like not the salt we use in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I will come to that. That is something called Epsom salt. I will come to that. So,
It was like so soapy, like
soapy na
slippery
එක
type of.
එකවතක mix කළා. I mean, sometimes bath bombs වගේ හදනකොට එක එකවතක mix කරනවා. So
No,
that
no,
is
like
also.
the salt we are consuming in the food. They
And then
have put directly taken from like sea water, like
okay. Sea water වලින් තව salts උත් තියෙනවා. So mix එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. I'm not very sure about that texture wise. But pink salt ගත්තාම සමහර pink salt is also used for bath and stuff නේ cosmetic ඒවට. එතකොට සමහර pink salt නම් ළමයි ඇත්තටම මෙන්න නිකන් sodium chloride ඔය sea water වලින් එන ටික අරගෙන ඒකට pink colouring දාලා මං කිව්වේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා. ඒතකොට ඒවා ඉතින් එච්චර ගාණක් නැහැ. ඔය හැමතැනම sell කරනවා ඒවා. So that's not a big deal. Then ඔය bath salt කියලා විකුණන ගොඩක් නේ Epsom salt. Epsom salt is actually not sodium chloride. මේ මෙතන තිබ්බනේ magnesium sulfate. Epsom salt කියන්නේ magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate is good for the skin. It has like a healing property. Ekai, now I have another question. Isn't Epsom salt used for swelling in skin? Yes, because it has a healing, like kind of a cooling property. හැබැයි Epsom salt එකක් නිකන් ලික් කරලා බැලුවොත් එහෙම it's bitter because magnesium sulfate is bitter. Epsom salt. Samanay sodium chloride වලට වඩා Epsom salt is better if you are like in a bath. It gives you like a sense of relaxation and it's good for your skin also. එතකොට ගොඩක් දුරට Ashita, that salt might be like pink salt or something because pink salt is again good for skin. හැබැයි normal salt and pink salt වල ලොකු difference එකක් නෑ ඇත්තටම. It's just the appearance and අර market කරද්දි ඉතින් Himalayan salt කියලා කියද්දි it sounds like a big deal, no? But otherwise, composition wise, it's there's not like a major difference. Or it could even be Epsom salt. නැත්තම් Himalayan and Epsom salt එකේ mix එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. And also another question is, I got a scrub with pink salt in ingredients and have told pink salt was there. That's good for skin. එහෙනම් ඒක කියන්නේ අර Himalayan salt වගේ මං කියුවා අනිත් තැන්වල තියෙනවා කියලා. ඒ salt එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එම නැත්තම් එක ගොඩක් ඉතින් ingredients check කරලා බලනවා. Some people scan. Some people like online ඉතින් අරම දාලා විකුණනවානේ. And
Tisha,
yes, Ashwita.
is only Himalaya salt. That means the pink salt that we like buy in the shop. If it is taken only from Himalayas,
No,
it is not
it's
like
not.
that. No,
Yeah, Himalayas වලින් ගන්නවා Himalayan salt කියලා market කරනවා. But Himalayas නෙමෙයි ඒ areas අවට තියෙන අනිත් තැන් වලත් ඒ වගේ situations තියෙනවා. Like oceans being there and oceans have evaporated, salt has become rock. ඒවා තර iron oxide තියෙනවා, they are pink in color. So it's not always Himalayas. There could be other regions as well. Okay. Okay. All right. So we will move on
yes,
to.
Tisha.
Okay. So that was a good discussion of salts, right? I actually like teaching that part. මොකද මේ ඔය salts ගැන මට පොඩි interest එකක් තියෙනවා. Extra and now these days I'm actually staying in Matara, so Hambantota is nearby, so I should visit the Sultan. If I visit the Sultan, I will definitely send you some pictures. Okay, last part of this lesson, extraction of essential oils. Essential oils අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ගන්න ළමයි plants වලින්, plant parts වලින්. Can you all get your textbook? Turn to page, let me tell you. Turn to page 66.
Fish essential oils are those oils they sell, no, like neem oil, like that.
Yes, neem oil, tea tree oil, rose oil, jasmine oil, cinnamon oil, all that. Okay. Citronella oil, like pangirithela maduro repair karana, we apply citronella oil, pangirithela කියලා ගන්න. So that's also they're all essential oils. I thought not like there are other floral oils like lavender oils, jasmine, rose, oils or humidifiers. Now humidifiers are a bit trending, no? Humidifiers are not very good though. ගොඩක් හොඳම දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. සමහරලාට use කරාට කමක් නැහැ, but generally ගොඩාක් use කරන එක එච්චර හොඳ නැහැ humidifiers. Humidifiers වල වතුර දාලා ඒකට essential oil එක දාලා වැහුවාම ඒකෙන් අර steam එක නෙවෙයි vape එක එනවා, mist එක. ඒ mist එකෙන් the entire room will smell like that essential oil. Anyways, go to page 66. Can you see that there's a table?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. So in that table, they have mentioned the plant, and also in the second column, they have mentioned the part of that plant which we use to extract essential oil or to produce essential oils. Vetiveria කියන plant එක අපි use කරන්නේ roots. Vetiveria is similar to Savandera. Have you all seen the Kumarika කියලා තෙල් බෝතලයක් තියෙන? I mean, hair, it's used for hair application. The brand is Kumarika, so there's an oil bottle like that. So in that oil bottle, have you seen a root? There's a root.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
In a green color oil bottle, there'll be roots.
There's a green oil bottle, and I think there's also an orange oil bottle. In both of those, there are roots. ඒ අයල සැවන්දරා මුලක්. සැවන්දරා වල මුල. ඒක දාන්න පොඩ fragrance එක වැඩි කරන්න. හැබැයි ඒ root එක use කරලා අපිට වෙනම oils ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. Okay? අර ඒ bottle එකේ නම් දාන්න just to like again like appearance, right? ඔයනිකන් oil bottle එකක් දැක්කම root එකක් දාලා it feels better. It feels healthy. එතකොට ගන්නවනේ. එතන පොඩි marketing part එකකුත් තියෙනවා, but also it elevates the fragrance. A root එකම use කළා ඔයාට කෙලිම oil එක ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. So vetiver is also something like that. Then sandalwood. Sandalwood is handun. Sandun hari කියලා අපි කියන්නේ. So ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා sandalwood වල there's sudu handun, the white sandalwood, and there's rat handun, the red sandalwood. And sandalwood is really good. If you have like pimples or like another pimple marks, acne scars වගේ තියෙනවා නම් ඉස්සර අපි මේක කරා අපි පොඩි කාලේ දැන් නම් actually I don't have time to like do that kind of stuff, but if you have time, because this was I think a few years back, because I have two younger sisters, and ඔක්කොම girls දාන ගෙදර, so we obviously back in the days we cared about like our appearance and all that. අපේ අම්මා ගෙනාවා sandalwood stem එකක්. කියන්නේ හඳුන් කෑල්ලක් බෙහෙත් කඩවලෙම තියෙනවා. The white sandalwood, and you take like a rock and ඔයක අතුල් ඒකේ මොකක්ද ඒකේ liquid එක ගන්නවා. So ඒක කරන technique එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ stem එක අරගෙන ඒක ඒ rock එකේ මෙහෙම you rub it on the rock, you add a little bit of water and you rub it on the rock, and then you get that juice and you apply directly onto the skin, or if you want you can add some honey and apply it onto the skin. Instant noodles වගේ results ගන්න බෑ, but there will be an instant glow, but if you consistently do it, there will be an improvement in your skin. ඒක ඇත්තටම මම experience කරලා තියෙනවා personally. So if any of, I mean, then there are so many sandalwood products. So yes, Risindi, you have tried that, no? And have you like, if you consistently try it, you will actually see results. So then godak, there are like sandalwood products, no? Sandalwood products wala හරියට ඕක දාන්න නැහැ. ඔයා ඒක actually like sandalwood එකකින් එක try කරලා බැලුවම you know it's natural and you know it's there. So if you do it for like a longer period of time, you will actually see results. I have personal experience. Now, unfortunately, I don't have time for that. But if you can find time and if you want to look good, You can try that. And if you have like acne scars and all that. එතකොට ඒ sandalwood වල stem එක හරිම stem එක is very important. So ඒ stem එක use කරලා අපිට oil එකක් හදන්න පුළුවන්. There is actually an oil called sandalwood oil, right? Using that stem. Cinnamon. Cinnamon අපි දන්නවනේ. Sri Lanka is very famous for cinnamon. And many countries around the world like Sri Lankan cinnamon so much. I have a friend in UK and he's a barista at a cafe. And he says that a cafe එකට එන කට්ටිය customers මාරම කැමති Sri Lankan cinnamon වලට කොච්චර කැමතිද කියනවා නම් the cafe owner has decided to introduce a donut named Sri Lankan cinnamon donut. ඒ කියන්නේ donut එක හදලා තියෙන කෙලින්ම Sri Lankan cinnamon වලින්. So ඒ donut එක තමයිලු the highest selling donut in that cafe. So අපි එච්චර ගණන් ගන්න නැති වුණාට cinnamon it's highly valued in other countries. Okay. So cinnamon වල cinnamon spice එක ගන්න මොනවද අපි? The cinnamon spice that we use, we put it for curries and all that to increase the taste. What do we use? The stem, yes. Stem එක තමයි stem එකටත් වඩා එක bark එක. Stem means the entire stem no. Sandalwood වල නම් අපි entire stem එක use කරනවා. Cinnamon වල stem එක වටේ පොත්ත අපි ගන්න. The cover only. The cover we call it the bark. Okay. Cinnamon වල bark එක තමයි ගොඩක්ම use කරන්නේ. අපි spice එකක් විදිහටම use කරන්නේ ගොඩක්ම bark එක. ඒ cinnamon bark එකෙන් අපිට oil හදන්න පුළුවන්. Essential oils ගන්න පුළුවන්. And not just the bark lamai, even the leaf. Cinnamon leaf actually is better than the bark. Can you cinnamon එක වටේ පොත්තට වඩා leaf එක much better. But the problem is that leaf එකෙන් oil චුට්ටයි ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකින්ද ඉතින් ඒකෙන් හැබැයි ඒ oil එක මාරම strong, very intense. හැබැයි චුට්ටයිනේ ගන්න. ඒතර economically මනුස්සයෙකුට business එකක් කරන්න බෑ oil චුට්ටයි එන්නේ එකෙන්. ඒකින්ද තමයි bark එක ගොඩක් use කරන්නේ. But the cinnamon leaf is also very fragrant and has a lot of good chemical compounds. And not just that, actually cinnamon will roots with use karna. So using the oils will be different. Cinnamon bark ekena oil ekai, root ekena oil ekai, leaf ekena oil ekai, they will be different. However, they are all used to produce essential oils. Then if you take citronella in Sinhala we call it pangiri. Have you used or do you have citronella oil? ඔබ citronella කියනට සමහර පැංගිරි කියලා කිව්වම දන්නවා නේද? පැංගිරි තෙල්.
Yes, Tisha.
Yes.
But mostly we use those to like for mosquitoes and
Yes. That is the primary use of citronella oil. To repel mosquitoes, no? As a mosquito repellent.
mosquitoes and houseflies.
Yeah. Houseflies and යනවද? Does it work?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know that it works for mosquitoes. හැබැයි දැන් ඉන්න mosquitoes නම් ඒකටවත් යන්නේ නැහැ. But I mean, it's still used though. And මට මතකයි පොඩි කාලේ නම් අපි පැංගිරි තෙල් එහෙම ගොඩක් ගන්නවා. Especially when we go to our village home in Ratnapura, it's a village, so there's like a lot of trees and all that. So there's a lot of mosquitoes. So anyway, citronella oil works. And even when I was in university, we went on a lot of field visits. So Sinharaj, Maduro, ඒ වගේ ගොඩක් foresty, හරිම rural පැතිවලට ගියා field visits. ඒ අද්දි especially Sinharaj අද්දි it was the rainy season, so there were a lot of leeches. Kudallo, right? එතකොට අපි citronella oil ගාවා as a leech repellent too. It worked up to a certain extent. සාමාන්‍ය shape එකේ වැඩ කරා. It was not very good, but it worked up to a certain extent. So citronella වල අපි yes, citronella incense sticks are also there. අර හඳුන්කුර වගේ when you light it, you get that nice fragrance of citronella. සමහර අනිත් ඒවත් හදලා තියෙන අතරම essential oil එකෙන් තියෙනවා. ඒ incense stick එක හදලා තියෙන ඒ incense stick එකට essential oils fuse කරලා තියෙනවා. So when you light it, ඒ essential oil එක තමයි light වෙන්නේ, then you get that nice fragrance. Then මොනවද ආයේ තව තිබ්බේ? Where's that? Lemongrass. lemongrass is sera. Sera කොළ දන්නවනේ ඔයගොල්ලන්නේ. සමහර ඔය ගෙවල් වල සමහරට sera use කරනවා. අපේ ගෙවල් නම් use කරන්නේ නැහැ වැඩිය. ඉස්සර නම් I think we used. But sera is also like it's very good for like to enhance the flavor of food. So lemongrass වලත් අපිට essential oil ගන්න පුළුවන් from the leaf. Then eucalyptus නම් අපිට ඇත්තට familiar නෑ, but eucalyptus is also a plant. From the leaf you can get the oil. Then cloves. What are cloves in Sinhala? What are cloves in Sinhala?
Is it karambutel, something they say.
Yeah, karabunati. Yes. So I have some in the perfume also made by Sandun. Yes, sandalwood will in
Yes,
perfume.
I don't know, but I have heard only that word. That's right.
Yes. Karabunati, that is it. So it's also used to like enhance the flavor. So perfume made by sandalwood. ඒකෙත් sandalwood oil එක තමයි use කරන්නේ. ගොඩාක් ළමයි perfumes හදද්දී ඒගොල්ලෝ essential oil එක use කරලා තමයි perfumes හදන්නේ. Anyways, the cloves are karabunati. Karabunati is very good again to enhance the flavor, and not just to enhance the flavor, to get a clean flavor. ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔය හිතන්නකෝ like we consume cloves කියලා. එතකොට it destroys bacteria. Especially like oral hygiene වලට එහෙම හොඳයි cloves. එකක් ගොඩක් toothpaste වල එහෙම clove picture එකක් තියෙන්නේ like cloves use කරලා හැදුවා කියලා. So it's used for oral hygiene. It's good to heart. Okay, yes. And it has like a lot of yes.
Vanilla is there. No?
Yeah, vanilla
The original.
vanilla is there. Vanilla වල අපි ගන්නේ seed දෙක ඇතුලේ oils.
Can they make essential oil using vanilla?
Vanilla, well, I think there are, because vanilla, there's a vanilla bottle no, that is used to flavor. A vanilla oil, a vanilla bottle, essential oils are mixed with other liquids to make the vanilla flavor. I think.
Because I have a perfume.
Right. Could be.
But we can't use that perfume. We can use it like a freshener for the house. We can like spray it to the curtain.
Yes. So, I mean, if it has a good fragrance, you can use it for whatever purpose you want. Because vanilla is anyways a good fragrance. It's nice. It has a nice taste. So, I think vanilla wala essential oil is gahanawa, but I can check that. I think vanilla wala api ganne ara pod dekේ තියෙන චුටි seeds. So cloves වල අපි ගන්න floral parts. අපි cloves karabunati කියලා කියන්නේ පොඩි මල. That's the flower of cloves. Again, we use it to get essential oils. Rose, jasmine, lavender. Lavender, we don't really find it in Sri Lanka. But rose, jasmine, lavender, we get the flower to get essential oils. Lemon and lime, we use the fruit. Lemon and lime are very good to extract the essential oils, right? Lemon, lime, even like certain varieties of oranges. ඒව හරිම citrus smell එකක් එනවා. Then nutmeg කියලා කියන ළමයි සාදික්කා. මේවා අහලා නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ Google කරලා බලන්න. Nutmeg is සාදික්කා වල අපි seed එක ගන්න. Even cardamom, එනසල් වලත් අපි seed එක තමයි ගන්න. So all of these are used to extract essential oils. Essential oils are used for a lot. When making biryani also, yes, we use it. Again,
we also use pepper oil. Like they take oil from pepper also. Yeah,
pepper වලනුත් ගන්නවා, peppermint කියලා plant එකක් තියෙන ඒකෙනුත් ගන්නවා, yes. So most of the things that we use to flavor, we get essential oils from them. එතකොට ළමයි ඔයගලගේ note එකේ page 12 ඒ කියන්නේ මන් දීපු note එකේ on page 12 essential oils කියන්නේ මොනවාද කියලා තියෙනවා, which are volatile compounds obtained from plant materials. Write some examples for essential oils produced in our country. You can check and write some examples. And then they have also asked you to write which parts in the plant is used to extract essential oils. A question based on that table I told you is on the textbook. The vetiveria will root, sandalwood will stem, What are the separating techniques used to extract essential oils? Before I explain that, I will explain you simply how essential oil is extracted. Excuse me. Lamai, ඔගලන්ට මතකයිද we learned steam distillation, no? Do you all remember steam distillation? The mage note එකේ තියෙන එක black and white picture එක, but on the textbook there's a colored picture. Anyways, do you all remember steam distillation? Give me a thumbs up if you remember. Good. Others? එක්කෙනාටද මතක? මෙත් මිට විතරයිද? Desindu remembers, Mayumdi remembers, Ashwita remembers. That's it. What about others? Hamodi remembers, Tinura. Hari. Monad steam distillation wala benne Risindi. Okay. Steam distillation wala ben excuse me. Steam distillation wala benne we use a certain plant part to extract oils. Etakota, the thing is that if you remember, I told you excuse me, Laman. We don't use direct heat. Api directly rat karanna hai because then that particular plant part can get damaged. Therefore, what we do is we just keep it in water and then we heat a separate vessel of water. එහාපැත්තේ වෙනමම water vessel එකක් අපි heat කරලා ඒ හැදෙන steam එක තමයි අපි මේ පැත්තට ගෙනලා we use it to heat up the water with whatever the plant part is present. එතකොට ඒ plant part එකේ එන oil එකයි ඒ water එකයි ඔක්කොම ටික මෙහෙම යනවා. ගියාම Liebig condenser එකේ all the vapor will turn to liquid. So we will have liquid water and liquid water as in we will have water and we will also have the oil. Whatever the oil is, if it's cinnamon, cinnamon oil, if it's sandalwood, sandalwood oil, that we can get it, we can extract it. Ek aap igena gatta in steam distillation in a simple activity. Now, this is how steam distillation is done in industries. It can properly when oil is extracted, the entire process of what happens. We take a vessel of water. And we heat it like this. එතන මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙතන steam generate වෙනවා. මේ steam එක මෙහෙම යනවා. Using that steam, this vessel where there is cinnamon leaves with water. Cinnamon leaves are in water. ඒක රත් වෙනවා. ඒක රත් වුණා මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ cinnamon leaf එකේ එන oil එකයි මේ water වලින් එන steam එකයි දෙකම එකතු වෙලා මෙන්න මෙහෙම යනවා. Now a Liebig condenser is something very small, no? දැන් මේ වගේ ලොකු එකකට අපිට චූටි Liebig condenser එකක් use කරන්න බෑ. So we have a setup that is like a bigger version of a Liebig condenser. Liebig condenser එකකම ලොකු version එකක් අපිට තියෙනවා. So this is make a Liebig condenser එකමයි, it's more it's bigger, it's enlarged, right? So here what happens is when the steam and the vapor from the oil, they are both going through this, මේ මැද යනකොට ඒගොල්ලන් දෙනම liquid වෙනවා. Water liquid වෙලා මේකේ collect වෙනවා, oil එක මෙතන උඩ float වෙනවා. Since they are heterogeneous, they won't get mixed. So this is cinnamon oil and water. ඊළඟට මට මෙයාව solvent extraction වලින් separate කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Because you know oil doesn't dissolve well in water. Just like solvent extraction අපි කිව්වේ, it is used to extract a solute from a solvent where it is less soluble to a solvent where it is more soluble. Here cinnamon oil is less soluble in water. මම acetone, kerosene වගේ එකක් දැම්මොත් එම මේ oil ටික හොඳට ඒකට extract වෙනවා. ඒකෙන් solvent extraction වලින් මට මේ oil එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Etakota, in the question, they are asking what are the separating techniques used to extract essential oils. The separating techniques are one is
Extraction by steam distillation.
Yes, steam distillation. And the other
Extraction by solvent.
extraction. The other one is solvent extraction. Okay, so up to this point, so that is actually the end of this lesson. I will ask you from this entire lesson, do you all have any questions? Or is everything clear?
Clear tissue.
Okay, others? Desindi okay, Risindi, Pamodi okay, Randira okay, Tinura okay, Metmi, Savinu, Mayumdi, Rashmika, is it clear? Mayumdi okay, all right. Now, before we move on to light, of course, there's a question that I wanted to do. Go to the exercise. Up in 9:45 again, Karamu. I hope that's not too late. We'll do until 9:45 and we'll finish. Um, can you all do Lamai on page 70, the question number 8? Did we do it before? Page number 16, sorry, page number 70, well, 8th question එක අපි කලින් කරාද? Can somebody check?
Yes, teacher, you gave this question.
We did it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hurry. Let's try the 10th question. Some of the questions ටිකක් තියෙනවා මේ exercise එකේ, they are quite important. It's better that we discuss those. එකක් තමයි 10th question එක. Start doing that until I check the others. Start doing this. Okay, I have 3 questions that I want you to try. ඉතුරු ටික also you can try at home, but these 3 questions we need to discuss during the class. So I checked all the questions. Others I think you can manage. If you find it difficult, we will discuss during the class. But these 3 questions, it's better to discuss during the class. Okay. First finish the 10th one. 10th karan, I will set a timer for 3 minutes. If you have already finished, you can try 12th and 6th. Quickly do. Done, Lamai? Give me a thumbs up if you have finished the 10th one. Others? Descending order of the solubility. Descending order of the solubility means what is more soluble. ඒ කියන්නේ වැඩිපුරම dissolve වෙන එක නම් මුලින්ම ලියන්න ඕනේ. එහෙමම අඩු වෙන order එකට ලියන්න ඕනේ. From calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate, sodium chloride and magnesium chloride, what is the most soluble in water? Okay, to Cindy. I won't say whether the answers are correct or not, but first tell me. I just need to know your answers. Okay, Tinura. Okay, Methni. Others? From all of these four salts, which one precipitates last? Which one starts to precipitate last? Last. Can I process එක අන්තිමට precipitate වෙන කවුද? When the concentration is twice, calcium carbonate precipitates. When the concentration is 4 times, calcium sulfate precipitates. When the concentration is 10 times, sodium chloride precipitates. Sodium chloride වලට පස්සේ තමයි magnesium chloride precipitate වෙන්නේ. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ magnesium chloride තමයි අන්තිමටම precipitate වෙන්න පටන් ගන්න. That means එයාව තමයි precipitate කරන්න අමාරුම. දැන් අන්තිමටනේ precipitate වෙන්නේ. ඇයි අන්තිමට precipitate වෙන්නේ? Because it is the most soluble one. Magnesium chloride is the most soluble one. Mind that order is correct. Only difference is magnesium chloride and sodium chloride. Magnesium chloride is the most soluble one. ඒක තමයි යා අන්තිමටම precipitate උනේ. එතකම්ම යා dissolve වෙලා හිටියේ. ඊළඟට sodium chloride, ඊළඟට calcium sulfate, අඩුවෙන්ම soluble calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is the least soluble. එයාගේ solubility තමයි අඩුම. ඒකින්ද තමයි යා first tank එකේදීම separate උනේ. Is this clear to you, ළමයි? Okay. Can I try the 12th one? I'll give you 2 minutes. Make it a 2 minutes happy. Start quickly. Okay. Did you all finish? Thumbs up. Others? Okay. You're given a saturated solution of a salt. Saturated කියලා කියන්නේ at a particular temperature, maximum amount of a solute is dissolved. කියන්නේ ඒ solvent එකේ dissolve වෙන්න පුළුවන් maximum solute එක ඒ temperature එකේදී dissolve වෙලා තියෙනවා. If I want to dissolve more salt or more solute, what should I do? මොනවද ලිව්වේ මේකට? There are two things that I can do. What did you all write? Quickly. Okay. Increasing the temperature. Now let's say salt kila. At 25 degrees Celsius, let's say 36 grams of salt is dissolving in water. That is a maximum. So at 25 degrees Celsius, when you dissolve 36 grams of salt in water, that is saturated. However, temperature 50 degrees Celsius වලට වැඩි කරොත් මට තවත් dissolve කරන්න පුළුවන්. If you all remember, when the temperature increases, solubility increases. Temperature වැඩි කරන්න තව මට dissolve කරන්න පුළුවන්. So what could you do to dissolve some more salt? I can increase the temperature. What else can I do? Anything else that I can do other than this? Stir කරා කියලා වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒ temperature එකේ ඒ solvent එකේ salt mix කරන stir කරා කියලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Add a solute. What if we increase the amount of solvent? අපි solvent එක වැඩි කරොත් තව solute මට dissolve කරන්න පුළුවන් නේද? What do you think about that? If I add more solvent. If I add more solvent, I can add more solute to dissolve, right? Then my salt solution එකේ මම තව වතුර ටිකක් add කරොත් ඒක saturated නැති වෙතර මට තව salt දාන්න පුළුවන්. Is that clear to you, ළමයි? Give me a thumbs up if it's clear. Okay. Last question. Last question. Make you know we are done. Nah? Write a similarity and a difference between vaporization and distillation using separate components. I'll give you 2 minutes. Quickly write the answer. Quickly. Yes, Trisindi. Huh. By heat change Yes, this is correct. This question is the 6th question, Risindi. 6th question, that is on page 69. Mayum, in that answer, in the previous one, මට message එක miss වෙලා දාපු එක, sodium chloride precipitate වුණා So when the concentration is 10 times, sodium chloride precipitates. Sodium chloride precipitate වෙන්න පටන් අරගෙන එයා චුට්ටක් precipitate වෙවි යද්දි තමයි magnesium chloride precipitate වෙන්න පටන් ගන්න. So the what starts to precipitate at the very last is magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate. I hope that's clear. Is it okay? Okay. I have missed some messages in the chat box. I'm sorry. Okay. Similarity and difference between vaporization and distillation. Vaporization ला අපි කරන්නේ ළමයි, let's say vaporization ला අපිට ඕන එකන අපි තියාගෙන අනිත් එකනව vaporize කරලා අයින් කරලා දානවා. Distillation වල we learned about simple distillation, fractional distillation and steam distillation. ඒ තුනේමත් අපි vaporize කරනවානේ. Vaporize කරනවා, හැබැයි distillation ला හැමලේම අපි vaporize කරන අපිට ඕන එකන. Vaporization වල අපි vaporize කරන අපිට ඕන නැති එකන. For an example, if you take extraction of salt from seawater, we vaporize the water. So water ටික අයින් වුණාම අපිට ඕන එක්කෙනා ඉතුරු වෙනවා. ඕන නැති එක්කෙනා යනවා. Distillation වල ඕන එක්කෙනා තමයි vaporize කරන්නේ. When you have a sample of well water, එකෙන් ඔයා normal water කොහොමද ගන්නෙ? ඔයා එයාව vaporize කරනවා. ඒතකොට water ටික vaporize වෙලා මම වෙනම එක collect කරනවා. මට ඕන එක්කෙනාව තමයි vaporize කරේ. Fractional distillation වල crude oil වල components මම vaporize කරා. What I wanted, I vaporized. Steam distillation වල I wanted the oil, essential oil. What I wanted, I vaporized. That is distillation. But vaporization වල what I vaporize is what I don't want. ඕන එක්කෙනාව මම ඉතුරු කරගෙන ඕන නැති එක්කෙනාව තමයි vaporize කරන්නේ. If you wrote any other answers also, please let me know. In distillation, we use a Liebig condenser to cool down the vapor and extract the liquid. But in vaporization, we constantly supply heat so the liquid evaporates. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. ඒකේ තර මං කියපු meaning එක තමයි පොඩ්ඩක් තියෙන්නේ නේ. අපි Liebig condenser එක දාලා එක ගන්න අපිට vaporize කරපු එක ඕනේ හින්දානේ. හැබැයි vaporization වල අපිට vaporize කරන එක අපි වෙනම collect කරන්නේ නැහැ because we don't want it. Similarity එක එතකොට heat must be supplied to both. Okay, good one. කියලා ලියන්න පුළුවන්. ආය අපිට ලියන්න පුළුවන් vaporization of දෙන්නගෙම vaporize කරනවානේ අපි components. Vaporization of components is done. වෙන මොනවාද? ඔය දෙක තමයි mainly. Heat must be supplied in both. අනිත් එක තමයි දෙන්නගෙම අපි මොකක් හරි vaporization එකක් කරන්න ඕනේ. Even in distillation අපිට ඕන එක්කෙනා හරි අපි vaporize කරනවානේ. Okay. Change of physical state of components. Sorry. Liquid to gas අපි change කරනවා physical state එක. So one of these can be used as a similarity. If you have different answers, let me know. Those answers could be correct. Huh? Difference එකට main difference එක තමයි in vaporization the component that is required that is not required is vaporized. In distillation the component that is required is vaporized. So what you said, Mayundi, about the Liebig condenser, idea that answer is correct. At this time, vaporization වල අපි Liebig condenser එකක් use කරන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද vaporize වෙන්නේ මට ඕන නැති කෙනානේ යාමට ඕනේ නැහැ. But in distillation, I use a Liebig condenser because what I vaporize is what I want. So යාව Liebig condenser එකකින් මම ගන්න ඕනේ, right? So up to that point, is everything clear, Lamai? What we did today. Unfortunately, we were not able to start light, but it's okay. Next class ek api fresh with a light patanga. Others, before we end the class, do you all have any questions, any concerns, any doubts, or is everything clear? If everything is clear, give me a thumbs up. Okay, others? Okay. Okay. Then next week we will be meeting on 21st of February, where we will be starting light. Light වලට printed note එකක් නැහැ, PDF එකක් නැහැ. So we will be handwriting the entire note because we have a lot of drawings to do, right? So yeah, so we wrap up, Lamai. So until we meet next week, have a great week and study and come, and we'll meet next week. Let's resume it. All the PDFs. Okay, I will send all the PDFs. මම දැන් use කරන්නේ මගේ laptop එක නෙමෙයි, මගේ Zoom එක විතරයි මේකට දාගෙන because my laptop ran out of battery. Risindu ඔයා මට මේ WhatsApp එකේ දාලා තියෙනවද? කොහොමද මම මේ දවස් දෙකේ WhatsApp එකේ active? මොකද දැන් February වල මේ කියන්නේ Oliver's ඉන්න කට්ටිය messages දාන හින්දා I always reply. So මට WhatsApp එකේ දාලා තියන්න. Okay, I'll send everything. Okay, Lamai, good night.